We had things were not, and had requested to have our meeting, but the county didn't seem to want to do that, even though this committee is specifically for looking at operations and has very little to do with whether or not there's expansions. We're really looking at operations, but that's what the county decided. So we're here today now, and we have a few other meetings already scheduled for the rest of the year. So be happy to have you here when those take place. I don't think I have anything else to say to welcome, except thank you very much for attending. And I know Jennifer would have liked to be here, but she had to take off on a vacation with her family due to spring break. So with that, I think we start off with public comments in our meeting, unless one of the committee members has something they want to say first.
We want to ask if anyone online.
Is there anyone online that would like to make public comments?
Doesn't appear so, although Brent just joined.
It's good to see you there, Brent. Okay, well, if there are no public comments online, do we have comments that we want to bring up from that have been sent in? I think there's some in our packet. Is that right?
There are a couple letters in the packet. Looks like those came on
Page 8.
So there's a letter here from you.
About meetings, yes. And I think if, so we're finding, this identified that we started to replan the meeting dates, and I think we have that done now.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's any questions about that, I'd be happy to entertain them. And all committee members probably know and have them ready now. So, okay. Any other, here's a.
Yes, there's. This is the letter that the DEQ wrote in response to the questions that the water quality group had.
Did you provide that to us, except in this packet? I don't remember seeing that being sent to us as a, I don't know if it was a courtesy or did you just?
I think we were under a timeline in the board.
No, for this letter response, I don't recall seeing this response.
Yeah, this came in
March
6th, it's dated.
So 3 weeks ago, so.
Yeah.
And it was just, you just provided in the packet that you sent out? I missed it in the packet.
Yeah, this is in response to the letter.
Right, I know the letter that was presented back, I think in December or earlier,
Yeah,
but
November.
this is the first time I've seen this response, so I can't comment on anything until I actually read it, because I missed it in the packet. Honestly, I didn't see it on the 60 pages.
Right.
The packet was. So
Did you also see the first letter that went to DEQ?
I saw that because he had it printed out on us, so I did see that.
Okay.
So if there's anything on there, I can't comment on because I haven't had a chance to read it, so I'll just.
Well, I'd hate to have you comment on it without having an opportunity to read it first.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, in light of that fact on that letter, let's go ahead and have comments next meeting if we need them. Okay. So you can come, or you can send us an email to the committee about your.
Oh, it's in the packet. I can pull it in the packet.
Okay.
I just didn't see it. I just read the beginning and everything else. So.
But the point is that the DEQ did respond to the letter, and that's now in the packet. It seemed like a very effective response to me. I did look at it, And I can't paraphrase everything in it. I think that'd be not a good way to do it rather than just read it. Has anyone else taken a look at it or felt that they wanted to say something?
Yeah, I've taken a look at it. And they went point by point and
Yes.
responded to what our comments were. Most of it was they'll look into it or ask for more information on it. But there was no major changes or anything like that came out of it. But I did want to bring up, do we want to respond to DEQ's response letter? And I know, Paul, you guys haven't had a chance to review it, so that's not fair game to be doing that. But it seems to me to keep the conversation with DEQ going, that we should
Yes.
write a response back to it and say, thank you very much for your comments. And here's what our thoughts on your comments are.
And you've done that draft letter.
I drafted that letter and I provided it, well, Pete and I have provided it, and Charlie helped out on that too. And it's sitting in draft on the desk right now.
And it's signed now by David and the community development director. So it's ready to be sent if DSAC wants this to be sent.
Well, it's probably good if anybody else on the committee wants to review what you're saying.
I think that's.
I think we should do that prior to submitting it.
Mhm.
So Paul, I think especially you might want to read what the response is after you've read the other letter too.
Right.
I
I
think,
read the original.
yeah, I know, but you haven't read the response and you haven't read the response to the response.
To the
But I think we all agree that it should be good to keep in communication with the DEQ. And that's a good way to work things. So if the committee is in favor of it, I recommend that we figure out a plan to get this accomplished prior to the next meeting. Okay.
I agree.
And I just have a question, because I can't hear Bailey very well, so I didn't hear who had signed the draft and it was ready to send out, it sounded like.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been signed by, let's see, I don't have the copy. You can go ahead, Bailey.
Was signed by Gary Stockoff, who is the he's the public works director and temporary community development. And David.
I co-signed it just
Also
now.
signed it.
On behalf of the DSAC, right?
Yes.
Right.
Right.
But I'm going to reserve my signature until the DSAC committee has had a chance to review the letter. So I think we should do that, and that includes everybody here. So I'd recommend that you read both the response from the DEQ and this letter, and then notify me that you've had that opportunity. And if we need to make any edits at that time, we can do that.
I'll send out both versions.
Yes,
to the
please do
whole
that.
group.
I recommend, I'm not sure how much time people need. Do you think a week is adequate for this? Is there anybody that objects
It's a
to
pretty
it?
short letter.
Okay, is that okay for you?
And I would like to actually just kind of reiterate that the DSAC subcommittee on water actually recommended this. So it's all three of us, the subcommittee, recommend that the draft be put in place.
Okay, great.
Let me have a chance to look at it, and if I
Yes.
need more time, I will let you know.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Okay.
It might not take you long. It's pretty short. Okay, thank you very much. So we've got this letter. And any other public comment items?
Do we have a deadline on?
My
Thank you,
recommendation.
I didn't catch that.
Okay, the recommendation is that the letter be sent out to the committee as a whole, and also a copy of the original DEQ response.
Mhm.
So the DEQ response and the letter created by the subcommittee, send them out, I'm gonna say, by tomorrow. And that we have 1 week from by tomorrow to feedback, commentary. Paul has requested if he needs more time than that, or if anybody else needs more time, please send him back a note and specify how much more time is needed to get this accomplished. Okay,
So after a week, if we haven't heard that anybody needs more time, then has DSAC approved that letter?
the letter is approved as written unless there's a needed edit that is submitted between now and the end of 1 week. Appropriate for the committee. Do we agree to that?
Sure. That's.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment items?
None have come through.
Okay,
Oh, and on the, sorry. There was another letter that came in with several questions, and I did my best to answer them. They wanted the DSAC to be aware of this, so I put it in the packet.
yes.
This letter was essentially the same information. So it's all in there. There's been a summary of the odors, methane, and PFAS subcommittee at their meeting. And then lastly, this is the tracking sheet that Paul Meadfield has shared before. That just shows the amount of solid waste being accepted at Coffin Butte. It's just a way of tracking how much waste is coming in. And that's it.
Okay. Anything else, anyone for that? Nope. Okay, we'll continue on then. Thanks very much to the public that have sent in comments. I hope that the responses have been adequate and more comments are always welcome. Okay, last meeting's minutes were sent out in this packet too. And we're now at that, which is item number 3. Is there any revisions or comments on those minutes? Hearing none, are we in favor of approving them for the committee? All in favor? Okay, thank you. It's passed. All right, then item number 4 is an opportunity for Paul to talk about a few things if you'd like.
Sure. Just gonna make notes. I'm sure since the last time we met, we have provided all the requirements for the informational and corrective action items that DEQ has requested regarding the pen from January 1st and February 1st requirements. And then obviously, you know, what was just handed down recently. I can't really go into that right now, so I'm not going to discuss any more on the pre-enforcement notification. SAS, a new Title V application, I'm sure everybody had on their desktop that it's gone back out to public hearing. We've worked closely with DEQ, and I think this one's a lot better, a lot tighter, so to speak, according to Janice and Michael on DEQ. So I think, we'll put it out. Obviously, there's going to be comments, things like that. We'll go corrections and we'll see from there. Hopefully, we don't have to step back and redo everything again. So there's that. And then I'll just slide right in. So that's, any questions on the pen or Title V stuff before I go into the other items?
Anyone have any questions?
The first agenda on 4, it says actions being taken by Republic. That's what you're going to be talking about now.
I just mentioned that. So
But you're not going to mention the details.
I can't go into details. So let me back up a little bit. So in November, we were served the pen, right? The requirements were to meet some obligations with information requests. We provide that documentation. We work with DEQ. We got a few extensions because there was a lot of detailed information they wanted.
Right.
So we got the extensions. We matched those extensions and met those extensions. We also had requirements for corrective actions or things that they requested on January 1st, January 1st or 2nd, and then, January 2nd, February 2nd. And we met those obligations And then they came back a few weeks ago or last week with the judgment order. And that's as far as I can say on that.
So the actions that you took on January 2nd and February 2nd, what were those?
They never got back to us on any of that.
Oh, there weren't physical actions that Republic did at this?
No, they were documentation.
Oh, just
actions.
data.
Yeah, there was some data stuff. There was actually some physical stuff that we did that they asked for, and we provide that all that, for example, walking the field, a couple other things. We provided all that for corrective actions, fugitive dust, tipper, that kind of stuff. It's all public record. We provided all that information on February 2nd. We didn't hear anything back until the judgment. So we inquired if there was any issues, any concerns, any questions. They never responded with anything or any follow-ups for additional information. And then they came with the judgment, and that's where we are right now.
So is there a list anywhere where it says what you've done, what Republic has done?
Yeah, it's all public record.
Where is that published?
It's part of the, you'd have to go to DEQ, and there's a pre-enforcement notification section. I think it's on the website. Did you post pen stuff?
Oh,
DSAC?
no, I don't think so.
Okay, it's probably in DEQ's website, but it's also in the public record of the order of judgment that they handed down. All that's within that
Yeah, I guess,
document.
so you're here as representative of Republic Services, but it seems like we talk about public stuff and we give you stuff, but I don't see anything published that we get to see in detail what the operations are doing or whatever.
Right. Yeah, we provide the stuff from DEQ, which is not going to be public until we provide it to DEQ.
Correct.
There's been no act, there's been no request from this committee or anybody else for that information, which is public record. So you can either go through a FOIA or Bailey can ask for it and then I can provide it. But there's been no ask for any of this information.
Okay. Is it possible that in the future, if you're asked to do something by DEQ and you respond to them, that we could see, well, this is what you're, because that's part of the operations of the landfill.
If I'm asked, yes, I will provide that information. I'm not going to just dump the information on that. The reports I've been asked for, but it's public record. They can get it. Bailey usually grabs some reports if I miss them and stuff, so.
And I can help you find.
Well, I think the committee would like, it sounds like at least one member of the committee and maybe others would like to at least have an access to this information once it becomes public record. And the easiest way for that is not for us to go looking through the system, but to have a pointer as to where to get it.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so if that could be done, I think that would help all of us have the information in the event we want to go look at it without taking a lot of time to find it. That doesn't mean you send us a copy of everything, just a pointer to where it is in the public record. Is that something that can be started?
I think if there's something specific, it'll be easier to answer, but yeah, I mean, I'll certainly provide you any of the information that you're looking for and try and, it's kind of a goose chase trying to find everything on DEQ's website.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that everything with regards to operations of the composting facility and the landfill facility that are submitted to the DEQ and become public record is all that we need.
Yeah.
We don't need to know anything else. So do you send a copy to Bailey of what's being submitted to the DEQ or a link?
Usually the reports, and I know sometimes I'm lax on those given that how much we have to submit, but he usually will ask me for stuff and sometimes he pulls it himself. So yeah, he hasn't asked for anything recently. So if he wants to put in an email request, hey, can you provide the stuff? I will, provide the stuff so he can disseminate it to the committee.
Yeah, I kind of think that it'd be a simple matter just to add him as a CC on things that are submitted if they're public record.
That's not how it works. We have to submit it to the YDO DEQ website through electronic. So there is no emailing Jane Smith at DEQ. Everything's uploaded digitally. It's not uploaded to or emailed to somebody. So there's no CC in anything.
Is there any reason that site, when something is submitted to it, isn't notified to the county?
That's all I get is an email confirmation that it's been uploaded and then it gets assigned to somebody. And usually it depends on what category I put it on. It can go to water, it can go to air, it can go to solid waste, it can go to land use. It depends on the selection, and I just get the email notification. There is no CCing a bunch of people on this. It's all electronic now, so.
There would be no reason that the material that's submitted to the DEQ could not be CC'd when it's being submitted.
I don't, that doesn't, I'm sorry, Dave, that doesn't make sense. I have to go to DEQ website, log in, manually drop it into the website and hit submit. There is no email CC or anything.
Well, why could you not send that same information to Bailey?
Because at the time I'm uploading it based on a deadline. If he wants it, he can get it. It's public record. I mean, I'm more than happy to send it to him. I'm more than happy to send it to him.
I'm trying to make it simple and.
I'm more than happy to send it to him, but I have to move down the list of things. I got 20 sites in the state. I can't keep track of everything. If the committee and Bailey would like something, I'd be happy more to send them. Just send me an email. Hey, Paul, did you get anything that we need to submit? I'm like, here you go.
Well, maybe the DEQ can send it to us.
That's a
Trying to
FOIA
find some
request.
solution to the problem.
Is there a single point of contact at DEQ for
Well, they have
operations?
a platform.
Like a project manager that oversees
No,
everything?
it all depends
It
on,
all depends upon
it
what
depends on what you submit.
air,
Air,
land.
land.
It sounds to me like what the committee needs to do is to send a note into the DEQ to find out how we could get access to these
Yeah.
specific document sets in a way that doesn't require a lot of effort from anybody.
Like I said, I have no
Because it's already
problem
been
sending it to them, but I have 20 sites and when I'm submitting a lot of documents, it's usually a lot at once and then I got to move on to other
Well,
things.
yeah,
So,
and I don't want to.
I have no problem sending it, so.
Well, so I'm quite willing to send a note to the DEQ if that's the way to do this and find out.
I just went to the DEQ website and there is a site, as Paul said, that says upload to the site, and then there's request for public records. So if Paul could just notify Bailey that he has sent anything or uploaded any documents, air quality, water quality, whatever their quality, if you let Bailey know, he'll know to access the public records and get a picture of those, get those documents to us. But the site is really a mess, as as Paul has said. So going there and uploading things,
Oh, you mean DQ's website's a mess?
yes, yes, it's a mess. It's a mess. So I'm just saying, Paul, if you can let Bailey know when you're going to do this, just say, I uploaded this to air quality or whatever to DEQ's site, then he will know to look for those things.
You ready for a lot of emails, Bailey?
That's okay.
That's all right.
We're finding out
10 a
where the
month.
issue is, and I think that's a good thing, and I really appreciate you giving us a little bit more detail on it.
I mean,
Thank you, Chair.
YDO just rolled out over a year ago and DEQ is still trying to figure out their own website.
Okay.
So,
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and send a note to DEQ and learn a little bit about why this is a problem. Okay, I mean, why it is difficult for us to get the data without you needing to do additional work.
I don't mind. I mean,
I understand
that's
that.
what,
That's
did
not
Ian
what I'm trying
usually
to say.
submit that stuff to you? How do you guys typically work? I want to understand this.
Well, it depends on the month, right?
Right. Some months
But the
are-
way ideally it's supposed to work is when Brock submits the information to
Right.
you, then he makes a copy of all those documents quarterly that he needs to turn in and sends those to me.
Is that because they're for the county stuff, right? It's not the upload to YDO, is it to DEQ?
It's the permit 306.
Yeah, because I don't see that stuff. That's usually, I help him with some of that, but I don't know if he sends it to you or if he uploads it to DEQ. So if it's just a county requirement, obviously he's gonna send it to you probably as a solid waste coordinator.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a DEQ requirement. So, but back to like Ian and so it depended on the month where he would tell you, hey, or would he give you the stuff? Because obviously I would
Well,
want to make.
sometimes it was me nagging me then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then sometimes too, I'd put in informational requests to the DEQ, but then it's usually a couple of weeks before they get that information back.
Yeah, I apologize. It's been a crazy few months and I know I've been lax.
Sure.
I can easily send you probably 30 reports if you want right now, so.
Well, thank you very much.
I just want to make sure it gets where it needs to be, so.
Okay. Any comments from the rest of the committee?
The one comment I have is with regards to the, as you call it, the PEN or pre-enforcement notice coming out a couple days after the decision by the county. And it's a curiosity to me why the county wasn't aware that this was probably coming out. Do we talk with DEQ very much as a county?
No.
Seems like, it seems like, is there somebody who would be the person to contact them? Or who would that be?
I can't speak for DEQ.
No, from the county contacting DEQ. We're keeping abreast of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I do reach out to them and ask them, but.
Are you the main county contact to contact DEQ?
I guess from the county, yeah.
I think I could be wrong, I'm not a lawyer, but there's probably some legal stuff that you can't really, hey, we're gonna be sending this out, in 2 days, kind of thing.
No, but that they're working on a review or this or other stuff.
Yeah, they just say they're currently reviewing it, and you'll know when we put it out, but, we didn't know. Contrary to public comments, we do not control DEQ, we do not control holding it back, we do not have.
Sure.
And that's kind of really insulting, is like to say, hey, let's hold it back. We don't have any control over DEQ.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous to say.
So, well, you're quite right. The sequence of events was curious.
Yeah.
It made a lot of things happen that may have never had to happen. And that's curious.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So thanks.
sometimes it's just coincidence.
Anything else anybody wants to? Yeah, I think we should move on to the next item if that's where we're at. Do status.
Operations, so so we gathered some information for you, and the committee, so we are currently, and Julie can correct me if we're still doing this, we are doing weekly road cleanups on Coffin Butte Road, Highway 99 and Independence Highway now, correct, and Campadero Road. Sheriff's Department work crews are working with doing that work, and with the Sheriff's Department, and then we fund that work. We pay about $1,200 per event, and I think it's weekly, right, for all other roads? Yeah, so we've actually been able to conquer Highway 99, which has been a challenge because there's no berms.
Yeah.
So it's a very high safety issue. So, but we're making.
Actually, Independence Highway, that's the newest.
Yeah, that's the new one. Yeah, right at the end
That's the
of
one that was so difficult.
That's the difficult one. Yeah.
So you guys just started the Independence Highway one?
Yeah. When did we start that, Julie?
About a month ago.
About a month.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah. It is a challenge. Like I said,
Oh, yeah.
there's no shoulders on it. So it's going to take some time, but now that we're getting to it, so hopefully we'll tackle it.
Yeah. Well, of
So
course.
you said the sheriff's department is just doing 99, not the other road?
No, they're doing 99 Coffin Butte, Independence Highway, and Campadero roads. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and Independence Highway is just the newest one. We did all three before, and it's about $1,200 per event. We pay the sheriff's department to do that. You talked about recycling guides. I know I saw a mention. So they went out to Benton County residents in January with a comprehensive list of items to recycle, so everybody's familiar in Benton County where things need to go, regardless of recycling. Yeah.
Those actually are going out any day, but they're not out yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah.
There was an
Okay.
issue with, yeah,
Oh, okay. Apologies. They are going out when?
very soon.
Very soon. Okay.
Can you,
They're online now. Yeah.
They are online. Okay. So there's access online.
now I'm kind of, it would be nice if you could send them something to us to know that it happens, so we can go look at them.
Okay.
That'd be great. So I may or may not see it, and I'd like to see it,
Sure.
Is it?
But it will come to you in the mail. That's how you know it's coming.
Oh, but my mailbox is in Polk County. So I
Well,
don't know.
if you have service, if we have your name
Okay.
on an account, you will get it.
I don't,
Where are they online? Is it on the Coffee website or is it?
You can walk into our office and pick one
The
up.
Corvallis, we call it a microsite, and
Okay.
it has all the calendars there, so if you do Republic Services Corvallis, Oregon, you'll see the site that has all the local events, HHW
Yeah.
events, things like that there,
Okay.
including all the calendars.
Okay.
so it's gonna go out to all current customers of the Coffin View site or
No.
All Benton County.
Benton County current
Public
customers
services.
of Republic Services? Okay, I get it.
All Corvallis hauling in this case, for Benton County,
All-
Corvallis hauling.
Corvallis hauling, yeah.
Oh, Corvallis Hauling Group.
Is this what you're sending?
Yes,
Well, it's about 3 pages,
Okay.
but that's
So-
included, but there's more.
There's more detail on that stuff, yeah.
Well, I think it'd be nice if the committee got a copy too. So, I think most of the people on committee are probably gonna get it. Maybe I'm the only one that's not.
No, you'll get it, because you live in Benton County, right?
Yes, I live in
And
Benton
your public
County.
service?
I do not have a public service
Okay.
account. I take my material over once a year in the back of my pickup.
Oh,
So,
touche.
because I don't have that much. Okay, so I appreciate it, but
Okay.
I'm just trying to ensure that at least the committee sees it, because it's a lot of work you do.
I'll get one.
Okay,
I can work with
Yeah.
Republic
I'll
and
send
send
that
it out to the group.
And Julie, this is just directed at recycling?
It has a schedule for all the events throughout the year, the hazardous waste, the recycling, the spring cleanup events, leaf pickup. It has information about what's new and what to keep out of the recycling for contamination, how to put your recycling out, where the carts should go. It's kind of the all-in-one guide.
Sounds pretty nice. Thanks. Thanks for the work.
okay,
What else?
so Republic Services now owns and operates a commingled recycling process facility in Salem. That was formerly Garden Services. We started that up, I believe, in August, sorry, okay. We're currently working to make upgrades, a facility and processing line, a new baler was installed in November. We'll continue to upgrade it with higher tech equipment. This facility is a participant in the RMA Act, related to MERP, so the new Oregon RMA Act. Our Julie Jackson has been appointed to and participating in the governor's task force for municipal solid waste for Willamette Valley. We've had, I think, you've had 2 December and January, correct? Or 3? Okay. That's that. I, along with Bailey, I saw his name, have been appointed to Oregon DEQ Rules Committee. That will be meeting next month, I believe. And this goes to not only SB 726, but a lot of other stuff like crematories and some odd things that really kind of interesting, I thought. So when you got that email, I was like, crematories? Okay. Right now, this year, we're starting gas construction on April 13th. So what that means is we're going to be putting new headers in, new force main, new pipes. We're drilling a bunch of new wells around the site. We're identifying gaps in our areas, and we're drilling wells this year. So we're starting on the west side, move to the east side, and then to the top deck once all operations is in the new cell. Let's see, and we're also considering ordering a second flare this year. So we're looking at modeling. So we're going to probably install a second flare.
Paul,
yeah.
so those 2 items, the flare and the wells, was that something Republic was doing anyways, or?
Yeah, well, the flare is based on gas curve and gas getting pulled from the field, but we always install new wells, right? So, we identify gaps in the field where, a well has a certain areas, sphere of influence, and we're identifying gaps, and we try to fill those gaps and collect all the gas that we can. Right now, cell 6B, we completed last year, is ready to be filled. We're just holding off until the wet weather stops, so we're not pumping out a bunch of leachate.
Yeah.
While we're putting a couple feet of trash in. So right now we're going to start, we started cell construction on 6C, which is going to take almost the rest of the quarry floor. It's about 10.5 acres. That's expected to be done in probably October. We're going to push DEQ hard to get that approval so we can kind of, move everything over there. As everybody's aware, and I know there's some comments on here, we're currently sliver filling the front east side. I know everybody sees it, but during some annual reviews of airspace, due to settling and not filling when we should have, we're going back and recovering about a half a year's worth of airspace. So once we get that whole east side to that top deck, we're looking at final capping 25 acres next year or the year after. So that whole front face will be looking like the south face with grass and everything else. So that'll be all capped. And we're working hard to fill that and get it out of there so we can start working on design plans for final closure of that front face. And then, let's see, and we're hopefully May to June is when we should be done. And then it'll all be just soil. We're not going to put tarps back on it. We're just going to keep it soil. We're going to bench it and make sure everything drains correctly. And then I have on your email on 12/16 that you sent, I've walked 99 looking at this landslide that you talked about.
Yeah.
Do you have any pictures of that? I can't,
Oh, okay.
I'm sitting there looking at it and I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
missing
what I
it.
saw is if you, on the hill to the south of the landfill.
Yeah,
On the east side of the highway, you'll see that the pavement is cracked, okay?
because I parked is it right by where you park like for that little,
No, it's further over, further back.
because I parked there and I kind of walked across the street looking and I can't,
Well, all you need to do is,
well, I know, I walked, I couldn't
what you
find.
should do is just drive from Adair Village
Mhm.
south,
Right.
and just as you're going
Wait,
up the
Adair
hill,
Village South or Adair Village North?
north, yeah, Adair Village North,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And when you start going up the grade up, you'll see that there's a spot on the highway that's starting to slip off because you'll tilt with your vehicle.
I
Okay,
never.
and my
felt that,
concern,
so-
what I was raising is that means that the ground is sliding underneath, and unless we let the state know, they probably won't do anything about it until after the thing falls off.
I didn't see it. All I know is I need to contact the state because the estuary pipe that goes underneath the road,
Yeah,
that's clogged. That's getting rooted in. I need
yes.
the state to clean up that area so we can
So-
have proper drainage of that.
Okay, well,
So I didn't know that. So I don't know if anybody goes by that way and sees it, take a picture because I looked
Okay.
in there. So I'll try again looking, not tonight because it'll be
yeah,
dark, but
I would be happy to take a picture, but I won't be seeing it until like next week sometime.
yeah, no, yeah, so I'll take a look again and see it, but basically that's all I have for things since our last meeting, so.
Well, thank you. This is kind of a new thing that I asked to have added to the agenda, and I was wondering if the committee finds it useful.
Very much so, yeah.
Because it points out that there's activity going on that is in support of making the landfill safe and secure.
Right, yeah.
So thank you very much.
No
So
problem.
you said you bought a commingled facility and that was formerly what?
Garten, Garten, yeah, that's a full name, right, Garten?
Services.
Garden Services, okay. Yeah, they took a lot of shredding, they had a big shredding capacity there, where had those secure trucks, and they came around and collected all your, personal documents and shredded them, so.
So how many do you have now?
That commingled facility is our first one.
But then you had another one already, right? That was
No, that's our first.
commingled recycling that was, we were
I think
taking,
you're talking about source recycling, which is just
Oh,
what we call a dump and bail. It's where we take the route trucks and empty them and then bail it to send to one of these facilities.
recyclables and garbage, recyclables.
No, just recycling.
Just recyclables.
It has to be, yeah, it has to be transferred to a bigger truck and sent. Now just to
David.
sale instead of.
So where was it going before? You got this one.
It was going to a facility owned by another company in Portland. But now we own this company and
Okay.
can send it directly.
Okay.
Ask one, please.
And then Paul, I had a question about the gas wells and the gas power generation that you do at the landfill.
The power plant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a presentation before the landfill expansion vote about how they wanted to extend that plant if the expansion was approved.
Was that a representative of PNGC at the county commission?
Yes.
Is that the one you're talking about?
I don't know
It
who
was like during the day, but I just want to make sure that's the one you're talking about, both PNGC, which is the Pacific Natural.
But my question is, do you have any plans to increase that power generation?
We don't own the facility, so we can't say what they can do. So that is 5 engines that run on methane. It's like CAT engines that they provide power to electric grid.
Mhm.
So they dump it into the electric grid. We don't own that. That is privately owned as part of, it's part of CPI. the consumer, I think it's what, called consumer power.
Consumer power?
Yeah, so they're part of consumer power, and so they put the power into the grid. So we don't have any say on that.
But we can inquire to them if you want.
But they're on your property, right?
We lease the property to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's a resource that's being underused. All the gas is being generated. In Coffin Butte.
Yeah, we don't, so all that has to get permitted. So if they want another engine, they have to get it permitted.
Mhm.
And what that affects is, so as the permit, so just kind of give you a high level thing. So the plant, the flare, all the emissions that are on the site, whether it's vehicles and everything else, they have to go into what's called an insignificant emissions limit. And the plant produces 97% of the emission limits overall for the site. And so if they were to add another engine, we would never get a Title V because the modeling would not allow it unless they put the stacks 50 feet up in the air because of the modeling. So like all their stacks and how you do all the stuff with the flare and all the modeling that our consultants we spent a lot of time doing, you can't add another engine right now because the Title V would never support it with emissions. So I don't know how. We lease the property to them. So, and they're one of the first gas and energy facilities in the nation.
If the committee would like it, we could of course have a presentation about that facility from Consumers Power PNGC to learn more about it.
Is it, I thought
They are
Okay.
part of the power co-op.
okay,
Yeah.
That means the power cooperative receives the energy.
okay,
Yeah,
Consumers Power is just one of those members.
right.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I
apologize.
think, we're going, this is a very interesting topic. However, it's not really what we're here for,
Right,
except for the fact that it's interesting to see us utilize this energy.
Mhm,
I think that's a really good thing.
mhm.
But I think if we want to hear about it, we ought to ask PNGC to give their presentation.
Yeah.
If you are
It'd be interesting.
interested. So,
was that presentation, that should have been posted online, right?
Mhm.
So I think it should be on the Benton County.
Yeah, it's recorded. You could watch the presentation
I
from a
think
year.
I did watch part of it.
I just don't remember when it was. I know it was last year, like May or June or something. Yeah, I think.
well, I'd like to move on in the schedule if I can, if we've covered this topic. Well, thank you very much. The next thing on here, I believe, is fire.
David, if you just did a handout, can I get somebody to take a picture of it and text it to me or email it to me?
I think Bailey can email it to you. What happened was that I'm going to report on fire safety update, and I got a letter from Aaron about an hour ago on this, about an hour and a half ago. And this is his take on part of what we did. And I'm going to start with the note that I put out, which was I had summarized what we've done to date. And then we can also go through what Aaron is saying. Okay, so starting with my note, which is not as pretty as his, doesn't have color. Basically, I was tasked with the opportunity to interact with the Adair Rural Fire Department and see what we can do about making it so that we feel comfortable about fire safety. And in summary, there's public notice of fire danger that takes place and extreme fire danger. This is a standard public process that takes place, and members of the public throughout the county and the state are aware of this. And I put in a note that the DEQ has a spot that you can go to look for this information about burning. There's a place that says whether or not you can have outdoor or backyard burning. There's more information for people that actually do work in forests, like forestry people, as to whether or not they can have do any work in the forest, or also if they can slash burn or things like that. Okay, so that's at a site that's available. And all organizations that perform work in which fire emission and or danger is significant are already identified both is responsible and liable in the event of an uncontrolled fire outbreak. So then we have to decide, well, will it be uncontrolled? Will it break out? Will it go beyond the area? That's all value judgments that people make. Okay. So it's in the best interest of the landfill operation, PRC, to monitor and take appropriate action. At this point, I think both facilities feel that this can be handled during operation hours. I'm not as confident, but that's my position and not a complete position.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's your letter, yes.
And that's what this letter says. And but in light of the current position of operations, I think the next thing that we could do as a committee is to submit a request for support to enable more monitoring, like 24-hour monitoring during times when the operation is not, working. The non-operating hours of the landfill and or the PRC. Yeah. And we can do that. We can ask for support from that from the county, the state, just to set our minds at ease. Okay, so I'll see if the community wants us to proceed that way. If they do, then I will initiate that type of activity. But first, I thought I ought to read you what Chief Harris stated. And he, first of all, wants to point out that he really appreciates the efforts of the employees at these sites. They're very attentive to fire, and that they do their best to help out in the event that there's both either medical or fire emergencies, because Adair RFD does both of those. And they've had a very favorable interaction with everybody on site. So thank you very much for the fantastic people that are working there.
Is this the meeting he's referring to that we met in 25? Because I don't see a date when this, it's Benton County Fire Defense Board meeting. Okay.
Yes, there's something called a Fire Defense Board meeting, and that what happens there is that all of the various entities that deal with fire in this region get together and chat. And he went to that meeting after he and I had talked and tried to decide how to approach this need to know when there's a need for more intense observation for the possibility of fire outbreaks. Okay, and he reflected back that they indicate that if you businesses are responsible in themselves to do such a thing if they feel they have a potential liability. So the options are pretty simple. They can decide, well, we don't think we have enough liability to need to do it. And I believe that's what I heard, that the likelihood of a fire outbreak would not be significant enough to require us to do this monitoring at our last meeting in November. Okay.
Who's the new manager at the PRC? Who's he referring to?
I do not know the manager at the PRC.
I mean, I know who it is, but it's been the same, pretty much the same company. I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of, I just don't know who that, if he's referring to Kyle or Brock or somebody, I don't know.
But he said that he had some good relationships with this manager. And the only thing he's recommending now is that one has to watch out in that specific area and keep a barrier between areas.
Right.
And so it's in here. I haven't, this is the first time I've seen that myself as well. And I think he's just trying to encourage the avoidance of a fire outbreak right there.
Right. The conversation we had when you were on site with Brett and Brock and myself and the fire, I thought it was understood because of the concern, the community concern about the landfill. They would work closely with us to let us know, hey, we got red flag day. And this seems to completely counter the statements that he made at the time.
What it says here is that the board themselves have faced this same problem with other organizations, I guess. And they've decided that since they make public notice of when extreme fire danger takes place and it's regional or specific to smaller areas, that's the key to when one needs to do monitoring.
Do we know where we need to go for public notification?
Well, I did put that link on my note. I went to the
Okay.
Department of DEQ, and on that page, there's a map that shows up.
Okay,
And if you click on that map, it'll tell you the conditions.
okay.
I think that it works, but of course, like you just mentioned, I cannot guarantee that the DEQ
Just gonna
webpage
update it.
works perfectly. Okay, so this is a step in the right direction.
I would ask the fire chief if there is a site he recommends as a fire person, what he recommends instead of DEQ, where this would be a real-time thing that we can monitor if so
Okay.
needed.
I'm happy.
Because
to-
that's better, like, as we've all said, DEQ has a challenge with sometimes their website, so, and updating. So if he has, hey, go to this website, this is what we use, and it's.
I will send him a note if the committee finds it acceptable. And I'm going to include my comment, my note, and ask him if he has a more superior location for access to notifications than the one that I recommended here. And if so, please to convey it to me and I'll forward it to the committee as a whole, okay? I know what I do as a landowner and a forest, I have forestry stuff going on, is I check with the Oregon Department of Forestry, and I also check with the fire department. The fire department has a line you call and they tell you whether or not you can do outdoor burning, and they also tell you whether or not you can do agricultural burning. Okay, and they don't really tell you whether or not you can do forestry burning, but that's basically agricultural because trees are an agricultural product. So I'm happy to do that, and I'll go ahead and take that action. Okay, so that's what we found out so far on fire safety. We've been very lucky this last year, very happy that that's taken place. But in light of the comments that I've noticed that, people are worried about the fact that the snowpack this year is very low. This next year might be incredibly dangerous for us all. So we need to be prepared and make sure we're ready. Chair, you got a question?
I do. I'm wondering if this is the time we should talk about the letter and the article written in the Statesman Journal about the batteries causing spontaneous fires.
That sounds okay with me if everybody's willing to do that. We've got, we're a little bit behind the schedule, but not too bad. So you want to say something yourself?
I just thought it was interesting, and that the other landfills that are considerably smaller are having weekly fires caused by batteries in locations. And I'm wondering if we are having hidden fires that are just self-extinguishing or what, because it sounds like they have people supervising on a regular basis, 24 hours a day.
No, I think that would show up fairly quickly. And we would see that in well temperatures and other readings, and we don't see that.
I have a question. On one of the notices, I sent a message to Bailey, and I think he forwarded it on to you. There was an article that said where Adair, I think they were talking about the 18 fires or whatever it was during the hearings or whatever. And I think you told us how many fires there actually were that Adair came and serviced or was notified. But in that statement, it also said, most of the time Adair doesn't come, we take care of the fires ourselves.
Yeah, if there's a small fire, but we have to report it.
And so I was curious, is there a list of how many of those fires are that Adair's not
don't have
involved
that
with?
on me.
Oh, no, I
Yeah.
asked Bailey to send that to you. I don't know if
I don't remember.
you said you sent it to them or, but
I
I
probably did, but I don't
Okay.
recall that. So I thought I responded, but I'd have to look at my emails. I can't. I'd have to.
So, I mean, off the top of your head, you have fires like.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, Brock would tell me, I think my operations manager would tell me, so we could save track of it, but no, I don't hear anything about that. I think the last one was probably last year sometime, and we reported it, it was known.
So if you have any fire, they're supposed to report it?
I believe so, yeah, to already DEQ, we're supposed to report it.
Okay. And that's, even if you just take care of it yourself and Adair's not involved?
Yes. Usually it was in our, I think in a report. It's either goes in a report or we just do an email notification to DEQ. I can't remember. which one it is.
Any fire would be listed in your annual report?
Like I said, I don't know if they're typically in the reports. I don't recall that. Or either that it might just be, you just say email, say this is what occurred at this date and time, and
So I guess that sort of with fire safety, it's like, well, how many fires are actually occurring over the years? We don't know.
it's probably less than what everybody imagines and wants to think, because we just proved a Dare Fires declaration that there was 18 fires, or someone's comment that there were dozens of fires.
Yeah, right.
It's only 5, a lot of false alarms because they thought the
flare was a
old
fire.
flares were fires and there were not. So
Yeah.
a lot of false alarms. So we just proved that a lot of these, and that was Adair Fire's own documentation through a request to Adair Fire.
Okay. So there should be like a list of fires that you have had over the years since Republic took ownership that should be within Republic's files somewhere, as I'd imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine I'd have to look for it.
Is that something that you can send a request then to Republic Services to ask them to provide that list?
Of historical fires.
Historical, yeah.
So Paul, you mentioned the temperature. Do you have instrumentation that monitors the temperature of the?
We have,
Prison?
all our wells have, we take temperatures.
Yeah.
Well, we have to go to the well and take a temperature. So when we read a well,
It's digital or something?
it's digital.
Yeah.
It's digital.
Is that reportable to DEQ or is that?
Yeah, that's all part of our monthly monitoring for
Okay.
wells. Yeah. It's our calibration, as they calibrate the wells at least once a month.
That's the gas wells.
Yes. All 380 of them.
Okay, so we've kind of veered off of the battery fire question. I believe I recall that this problem is indigenous to the fact that everybody has lithium batteries in their stuff and they throw it away. Okay, and then I don't know how many of the fires that would take place at a landfill are caused by them, but I do know that these fires are on the increase because more and more things have the lithium batteries.
There was a legislation that just passed that will set up a statewide battery recycling program. So it's not until 2029, but eventually, hopefully that will decrease the number of fires.
Mhm.
And David, I'll just add that Republic Services signed on to that legislation, has been working for the past 3 to 5 years at a state level to bring this legislation to fruition. So this is new to everybody else because there was an article in the Statesman Journal, but it's not new to us in the industry. It's something we've been doing for a really long time and working with to try to come up with some improvements. We also take batteries back at our household hazardous waste events, and we've done that for years. And I think that's been a really good way to encourage people to bring batteries, lithium batteries especially, to those events rather than put them in the trash.
Yeah, and I would expect that this document that you're sending out right now says something about batteries as well. This recycling.
It does have a list of things that are common contaminants and that batteries should never go in the recycling.
So that's a little bit of reinforcement in it itself.
Are alkaline batteries fine to throw?
Alkaline batteries are actually okay. It's really, I mean, we don't. It's very difficult to recycle alkaline batteries. A lot of places take them back, but it's difficult. The recyclers come and go because they're not nearly as dangerous.
Yeah.
It's really the lithium ones that we want to get the word out to and make sure that people are aware of.
Nickel,
one of the things-
cadmium?
Yes, those as well. But one of the things that you'll hear coming, one of the things that did make it into the legislation are embedded batteries. And you're going to hear more about that as we go along. And I think embedded batteries will probably come up in the next legislative session because they didn't get included in this bill in the short session. It was just, they wanted to get this bill passed, couldn't get it passed last time. So it didn't work too hard to get embedded in. They're a big problem. Greeting cards that, have little songs all have a battery embedded.
Yeah.
All vape pens are a really big problem, lots of things like that. But I will tell you that a lot of the fires that people are talking about are at more like the sorting facilities, the MRFs where materials are sorted. If a battery catches on fire in a truck, we're going to catch that and take care of it. Or if there's a little smoldering something as a load gets dumped at the landfill, that's not really a fire. It's gonna get smothered with soil and the cats are gonna run into it. So
Yeah,
those are the things we see all the time.
I don't know of any battery fires that have happened at the landfill, but we've had a couple in our trucks.
Yeah, as the trucks come up and as they start, that's where they.
Yeah. So we'll dump them out on our wash racks and then we put them out and then we find, oh, look, there's a battery. So we have found them, but we haven't experienced one at the landfill.
Does that happen often? Once a year, twice a year?
Once or twice a year. Yeah.
I think making it more aware to the public that they shouldn't do it will help. So thanks. Anything else on the batteries? Okay, and we're now at 7 o'clock. I wonder if we want to take our break and then jump into things instead of going on to the next session. What does the committee feel? Let's pull a 5-minute break and jump back in. Wait. Okay, everybody ready? We're missing David. Well, I'm going to start. He can get back in shortly. The next item in here is updates from subcommittees, and I'm going to do the odors methane one since Jennifer's not here. I'm going to make it rather quick. And I recommend that the other two committees do the same. We met, the odor subcommittee team met several times between November and now, including one time on the top of the hill to look at things. We noticed, first of all, that there's the geography in the area is such that, and the topography is such that wind currents go in many, many different directions in that valley. And we feel that it would be very beneficial for us to have some kind of a monitoring station at both the landfill site or near it, and also one at PRC. Not talking about expensive,
We have one at the
complicated
landfill.
ones. Okay, well. it'd be
And I
nice
have
to-
used it to report weather data
Great.
for odor complaints.
Okay.
It's not
that's a fantastic-
official.
It doesn't have to be official. The key is just to at least know what the wind is like and keeping track of it so that in the event somebody calls in, at least you know whether the wind was blowing in the direction it leads to them.
On that point, where's your weather station?
Right out in front of the building. You've probably seen it.
It's on Coffin View Road.
No, it's right. It's
It's right in front of
20,
the-
30 feet from our building, from our office, sitting right in the grass on our evacuation point right in front of the building.
I've never,
Yeah, no, so.
I don't know where your office is.
Yeah, so, sorry, Coffin View turns into Soap Creek there, and Knife River Quarry splits off. Our building's there on the southwest end towards the main old landfill, not counting the quarry.
Yeah.
Our building's right there, our offices are right there.
Okay.
And then there's a weather station about 30, 40 feet from.
Well, I'm happy to stand corrected that there is one at Coffin View.
What does it tell you? The weather station? Temperature?
Rain, temperature, humidity, inside, outside.
Does it tell you wind direction?
Is it timestamp?
Yeah, I've used that for my responses to odor complaints, which people don't believe. So, because the valley could be going, you could be going winds at the airport could be going north, but I can look at the weather vane and it's going east because just the way the wind. So I use that sometimes as well as I look at the data from the airport and hours to see what the stuff is, what the winds are doing. They correlate a lot. Sometimes they don't. So
I'm glad that there's one there. It'd be nice if there's one at PRC too, if there isn't one already.
I don't know if there's one.
Okay, then the other thing that happened was that there were some samples made of the air at 3 sites, it turns out, by some lab folks. And that included the PRC, the landfill area, and the third one was the waste treatment plant for Corvallis. Okay, and
When were these samples taken?
between November and now.
Oh,
Okay, I don't know the exact date, but it doesn't matter. The reason for the sampling was done is to see if there's a technique called fingerprinting of chemical compounds, and that technique is a standard analytical technique. And it was shown that the emissions observed at these three different sites are distinctly different. Okay, which is to our advantage, because then if somebody does make some kind of an odor filing, one could actually determine whether or not the odors were from one of these three sites. Given further data.
was this odor analysis undertaken by the subcommittee?
Yes,
Will you provide that documentation and locations of everything?
we can provide what we can do, but what this was for is to find out whether or not the technique can do a fingerprint spectra, and it can. Okay, so I'd be happy to supply what we have.
Okay.
But I didn't bring it in here only because it would take a long time to talk about.
No, yeah, you can email it. I can.
And you can see what we're up to in the stuff that we have, okay? So this was all done in development of a pre-proposal to figure out whether or not we can get a more exhaustive discussion.
Oh, okay.
Analysis of things, because one day is certainly inadequate. The odors and emissions will vary as a function of the year. Okay, and it's better to know more about what's going on than just one day's observations. And during this time, some request for some funding to help support this has been submitted to the county, and we've not heard from them. Okay, so that's what's to date. There's probably there's funding sources available for this type of work. It's an analytical environmental analyses. So the lab group is in the process of submitting requests for funding some studies. Okay,
David, was this the OSU?
yes.
To Dr. Fields?
It's, well, Stacy Simonici's the department chair, and Dr. Field has a lab in it, and they're pretty well known for their research in the field. Dr. Field is primarily with PFAS, but the rest of the group works on all air quality monitoring. They've been doing so for about 30 years.
Right.
Okay. And I can't list all the papers.
That's why, no, I know they know what they're doing. Yeah, that's why.
So now, we didn't talk at all about measuring methane emissions or PFAS in this activity. Both of those are also possible. And there's been a lot of discussion about methane measurements. And in fact, the Oregon legislature put in some expectations on how to do those measurements. But that's further down the list for us. We're more interested in fingerprint spectra so that we'll know which source is the most likely source of an odor. Okay, so that's where we're at on that. We're continuing on the same sort of things at this time for this year. So that's my report for the PFAS odors and methane subcommittee. Any questions? All right, thanks. How about the groundwater leachate folks?
Sure. So we have been in communication as we talked about most of this already anyway. With DEQ, it started back with a review of the revision of the environmental monitoring report that was under DEQ review. We took a look at it and had some suggestions on things that DEQ would like to see them consider to improve the monitoring program and make it robust. Again, we didn't focus on looking at data, arsenic's high here and high. They didn't look at that at all. We looked at more just the monitoring program and the integrity of the system, provided some comments. They got back to us, and now we wrote a draft to get back to them again. most of their response was, thank you very much. We'll talk to Republic about it. They didn't see any need for any monumental actions, but, we have a dialogue going on, and I think that's a positive thing. So I'd like to see that continue on. And we all have a week to look at the response and see if there's anything in there, and if there's a problem, we can talk about it when we need to talk about it, but.
Thanks very much, David.
Yeah.
Any question? Well, we got work to do on that. We're gonna.
It's just an ongoing thing, yeah.
I think that's fabulous.
I did have a question about where is the leachate going now?
It is going to Salem and to other third-party haulers. We're kind of working with different communities with them right now. So
You mean
we're trying to, we're going to Salem and we're working with multiple other communities to take leachate to these.
to their water treatment
Yeah,
plants?
yeah.
Not-
Salem's the only one right now.
So is that, did like Corvallis,
We're done with Corvallis.
yeah, they
They
Cleaned it out.
They
We were
stopped
done,
taking it.
yeah.
okay,
We've taken everything out of there.
that's part of what you were
So
thinking.
that's what I was wondering where it was going now, yeah.
So,
Thank you. Okay, how about the community engagement team?
Well, Bailey made this really nice pie chart for us about sources of community concern. And quite an increase in complaints. Last year, there was 209. And the previous year, there were 103. And it's interesting, the breakdown, because in 2024, 4.7% went directly to Republic. Very small number. And then last year, 49% went directly to Republic. And DEQ was 50% in 2024, and now it's down to 31. Benton County, looks like Benton County's gone up 20%. But I think it's interesting that more people are using the Republic Coffin Butte, and I assume it's the Coffin Butte site. Because on the Coffin Butte website, there's an odor complaint that you can fill out.
I would say probably no. There's only 5 or 6 people who regularly use it.
So what are they doing?
They send a complaint, I investigate it. If we get it right away, we catch it. Say 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll try to get out to that site within half an hour, 45 minutes, and I will document that to DEQ. I will take a picture of I'll take a picture of the house minus the address, just for privacy reasons. And I will submit all that I will apply to the complainant, and I'll also submit the same documentation to DEQ as required by the permit.
So how are you getting the complaint?
They go through the website, but 95% or more come through DEQ still.
Okay,
I might get a random one.
Look at that. Oh, you mean DEQ sending them to you?
Yes.
Is
So
that-
where would that be on the
but
graph
that's
then?
not-
I
That's
don't-
not included.
I don't
Bailey, the
remember.
way you broke that down where it says DEQ versus Republic,
Mhm.
or the DEQs, are those being sent to Republic?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I get
But
very,
it's still a much higher number according to this pie that. are
Not
going
according to-
Directly to
not,
Republic.
we track, and I can probably count on all my fingers and toes the number of complaints that came to Coffin Butte so far this year. I can't count on all my fingers and toes of everybody in this room that's come from DEQ, just kind of as a loose analogy.
Probably need to see
So I don't know if that,
what's the difference.
Yeah, so then I need to go through them all again and see where,
yeah,
because part of what we'd like to do with this committee is to make it easier for the public to make comments.
And then to track,
And to find
Response,
out
yeah.
your response to those comments, to those,
yeah, I cannot, honestly, I would not be able to give these all to the community. I give them to him and he compiles them. I can't hand them out all the time because he'll ask for them. I'll give him our tracker and that's what he does. And he compiles all the data. And we do that, every, I guess, quarter, 6 months, and he asks for it. They're just, so many, I'd be endless emails if I have to do them. Like if you wanted information all the time, it's just not feasible.
well,
So
it sounds like there's a discrepancy between Republic Services complaints and DEQ. I mean.
I can't answer. I didn't compile that. I just. give
Right,
the
I'm just
data
saying there's a
yeah.
discrepancy, so we probably would be good to see, maybe it's more DEQ.
Because it's a huge change from 24.
99% of the complaints come from DEQ or the county combined.
Mhm.
There's very few people that use the website.
Well, we can just go back.
Or do people contact you directly?
No, they
No.
do not contact me directly.
Oh, okay.
No.
And they don't, okay, all right. Well, that's good to know.
No,
So
I
what-
get phone calls all the day and I can't do that. So they have to go through that portal for documentation.
You're talking about the Coffin Butte.
Yes, the Copy website.
Oh,
They should go through there, through the right channels to document that stuff.
Yeah.
So we have records of that.
Diane, the one thing that you had asked us to make that change so that it's really easy to find that on the website.
And it is.
really
It
easy
is.
now.
I think what confuses people is they don't know to go to coffinbutte.com. They go to Republic.
I would counter that because there are a lot of public records that have been submitted, not a lot, but there's been multiple comments about it's useless to go to Coffin Butte website. In the public records for the CUP, a lot of people say it's not worth it. It's worthless. Go straight to the commissioners, go straight to DEQ, or that's the comments within the thousands of pages of witness testimony. So
I think that's a
it's been
trust
mentioned.
issue personally,
Well, I can't change that, but all I can say, you want us to respond right away or quicker? I got an email from DEQ on Monday or Tuesday
Right,
from odor complaints on the 13th.
right. And see, that's what we're.
I can't do anything. All I can do is look at the numbers and go from
Well,
there.
folks, I think
Okay.
the objective that I kind of pick up from this is it'd be nice to have odor complaints received promptly and not take a long path.
And that's what,
Okay.
Julie, that's what this committee's been working on.
That was your
That's
focus.
what we've been working
And
on.
then,
But I'm just gonna tell you this because I had two people from the group of neighbors who are opposing landfill expansion tell me that they would not use our website.
okay,
That they just didn't see any purpose to use our website and report an odor complaint and they'd rather go through DEQ. There's not much that we can do about that. We've made it really clear on the website how to do it. Paul responds to those. Somebody responds to those every day when they come in. It's really the quickest way to do it. But, I tried to convey to this person, these people, that it really would make more sense if you'd report it to us.
And I think the committee can.
But I don't think that's our
promote
responsibility. We're doing our best. And I'm just gonna say it that way.
Is that our goal?
That's our responsibility.
Is that our goal though, is to directly report to Republic, to you guys?
Well,
I mean, that makes sense to
The
me.
goal would be,
If
I
he
mean,
wants somebody to come out
response.
And check the weather conditions and sort of see if we can see what's going on,
Sure.
or where the odor might be coming from. The only way we can do that.
Absolutely.
The wind
Mhm.
changes. The only way we can do that is immediately. And so it's not very effective to report other ways.
No,
But, Paul's doing the very best that he can.
I used your site one time and what happened was exactly what you said had happened. Somebody came to my house,
I know, it was me.
took a picture without my address and said, we went and investigated. It was quick. So
I
it
know.
looked like it worked to me.
Was that a test?
No, it was not a test. No. My wife went outside and goes, wow, man, I smell this odor.
how can we encourage,
So I think it works good, but it would be a burdensome
so how can we
thing.
encourage the public to utilize this system?
Well, first of all, does the Republic want that? I mean, that's the most
Sounds like-
immediate response, but that's could.
We want the true and honest complaints to that website.
There you go. There you go.
Me, because I got
agree.
short timer's disease here, I'm just gonna say it that way. We know that there were fewer than sometimes 10 complaints in a year prior to this, all of the publicity generated by the landfill lately. And there are many complaints. I don't know which ones are true and accurate, I know. But what we
Sure.
can say is we would like, when there's really an odor complaint, we would love it to come to the Republic, the Coffin Butte website.
Good.
That's the only way to
Good.
deal with it.
Yeah, so
I
that's,
better not be getting 100 complaints tomorrow.
Well,
it's gonna take some public education about where to go and why.
so does the committee want to pursue this
Yes.
issue? I
Yeah.
think that's a great issue to pursue
Yeah.
with the objective of getting odor complaints to the site that can take action on them
Yeah,
most quickly.
exactly.
Okay. I think there may be people on that may want to say something because I heard some audio come in. Does anybody want to comment from out there in internet land? No? Okay. Thanks very much. Anything else on your committee team? I think that's,
We're gonna have a new member,
yes.
Sarah Steen.
Okay, so I think the objective of enabling the public to have interactions is fantastic. And if we can make it so that they have a preferred, a recommended channel that makes things happen the quickest, that's great for us to do that. Thank you. Now, the next thing on the agenda, I believe, yes.
I think we need the board to officially acknowledge that they've received it and that it's okay to then pass this report on to the Board of Commissioners and also goes to DEQ.
Do you feel comfortable passing it on to the Board of Commissioners?
Passing what on?
The report that's.
That massive thick report, with the pie chart.
Well,
Oh,
yes.
well, I don't think it's accurate. Until I go and look at all the list of
That's
complaints.
just what I
Yeah.
picked up.
Yeah,
So do you want, I think maybe if you, can you spend time on that,
yeah,
like a
We
week or
see
two?
why there might be a discrepancy between what this says, the primary went through Republic Services, and Paul said they've mainly come through DEQ.
yeah, yeah,
That's a discrepancy.
yeah, yeah. But there's a complete list in, in our attachments of all of them, and they all say where they originated from, DEQ, or if they,
That's probably how the pie chart was created.
All right, theoretically.
yeah.
So did you take a look at this report?
Oh, no, a couple days ago, I think, or when he sent it out, but I haven't really had a chance to dive into it. But no, I have not fully looked at it, but I can just tell you, I don't get a lot.
I understand fully what you're telling me. What I don't understand is why
So if you look at
the
this
data doesn't
list,
match it.
this list starts in January 1, and between January 1st and January 9th, there's 6 complaints to Republic,
Of 2026,
25.
25. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't remember seeing anything. And the thing is I just got here January 5th, 2025.
But, I'll go back and look at it.
Okay, so Diane, if you'd be so kind as to have your team go back and look at it. And then Paul, what if what happens is it is correct in the number that are attributed to going through the website, that's, I guess then the report is correct as it stands.
I'd have to see the metadata, and
Yes.
I can't guarantee when I'll get to count and everything.
And it only says method complaint received. It just says Republic. It doesn't say whether it was the website or if it was
Call to Corvallis, is it just Republic in general?
it just says Republic Services. So,
I mean, it could be Corvallis, it could be Albany, it could be one.
It could be
transfer station.
Arizona. So, if you call the Republic phone number right now, you usually get a number in Arizona.
Right. Yeah, no, there's.
We
local-
would have no way of counting those.
Yeah.
Well, only if
That's
the,
not accurate.
it's not accurate that,
The only way we know if complaints come is if somebody walks into the office or walks into the office or calls the Corvallis office or files a complaint on the website. Those are the only 3 ways we would know.
okay.
Except that we get them from Bailey after Bailey sends them and DEQ then sends a list, but the immediate ones, we wouldn't get those otherwise.
I'm unclear about what corrections need to be made
Whether that is correct, that what 47% came through Republic of the community concerns, 49%.
Yeah. Yep, that's what the number said.
Yeah. And that must have been just from the list of complaints.
Mhm.
Yeah, so.
So that wouldn't, going through it wouldn't make any difference, yeah.
And, you know,
No.
you were given that information by Republic, right?
Right, and
And
the
and DEQ,
DEQ,
yeah.
and then the ones that I received directly.
Yeah.
Or county received.
Yeah.
Bailey, are you saying that the ones that come to us from DEQ, you're counting those as Republic?
If I get a complaint that came from Paul, that's what I'm counting as DEQ. The DEQ also sends list of what they've received, and they share that with Paul. But in my tracking, it would count as originating from the DEQ. Likewise, if I get complaints, I'll talk to Paul about it.
Right.
But I mark Benton County as the source of who received the complaint.
But what I'm getting from her, what I hear from her is 47% of overall complaints are coming straight to Republic.
That's what it's.
And
That's
that's
what it
not
says.
correct.
Or coming from Republic. That's what I heard.
Well, they're going
Coming to Republic, are coming to Republic specifically.
from the community.
Yeah,
From the
the
community.
initial contact was Republic
Yes,
Services.
okay, that's not correct.
That's not correct.
That is not correct. There's no way 47%.
Well, the only way we would know that is if you can show us from your data that that's not
And
correct.
that's what I give him. I give him exactly where this comes from, DEQ. So every month, he has every month of
And that's what
every
he
year.
put on the report that's generated here. So I'm confused as to how it could be wrong.
When we track it, I say DEQ, Coffee Butte website, DEQ, Coffee Butte website.
It sounds like it's way off though, not just off.
I'll
a few
take
things.
a look at it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's drastically different than
Yeah, so
24.
it's way off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a, yeah.
That should be reconciled before the commissioners review.
Yeah, that would just create a problem. So how do we do that?
I'll look at the data that I sent him because
Okay,
I know specifically and I review the data. If it's an address and it says Coffee Butte website and that says source, Coffee Butte website, DEQ, Benton County, so on and so forth. For every month.
okay, when can you get that accomplished by?
TBD, I don't know. I'm working the next 6 days in a row, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty swamped right now. I will try to get in the next week, but we'll see what we can do.
Well, thank you for that.
I will endeavor to try to get it done this weekend if I can.
I
Do you
think
need-
it would be useful also. Can I just say something? It looks like we've had 79 complaints through the beginning of February directly to the DEQ or Benton County. And those did not go to Republic Services. So you must be getting some. I'm thinking maybe old data is not as reliable as new data. And I'm looking at 2026. So if you look at 2026 through December or February 11th or so, there are 79 complaints so far, and they are all listed in the handout as being from DEQ or from Benton County, and none of them are from Republic Services. Is that correct, Bailey? Am I giving the right information?
I don't have it immediately in front of me, but that sounds right. And it's probably that I haven't asked Paul to send me what he's received in 2026. So
That's a
right.
lot, though, I have to say.
It is.
So it'd be useful for tracking in the future if we could get that information from the website and from Paul as well.
It looks like last December was primarily DEQ also.
Well, an alternative to going back and looking at the previous report, which we have questions about, is to just submit it with a comment that the distribution may or may not be accurate on where the sources of the data are, and that we're rectifying that by looking at the 2026 data. That would allow us to focus on what we have now rather than going back and trying to figure out what happened. What do you think about that?
Well, that makes no sense because if I can't find out what the issue is, it's just going to perpetuate through time.
It makes sense or no
It
sense?
doesn't make sense because if I can't find, if there's an error someplace, it'll continue through time. So if I can't look backwards to see what the issue is,
I'm talking about the data from January to March of 2026 instead of the data from January to December of 2025.
right, but
So why would it not be useful to look at the stuff of this year?
we're talking about 25, is that's the report. 20.
That's, yeah, the report's like this. I'm just saying we submit it and say that we don't know if the source of the data is accurate, but we know that this is the data. That there are this many complaints.
And then if the county comes back and says, can you please quantify or clarify the data on what the issue is, I'm gonna have to do it anyways, right?
You would then, but you wouldn't have to do it now because you could look at the 2026 data now,
Sure.
which you'll have to do anyhow.
Give me a couple more hours in the day, sure. I'll try to do it.
I'm trying to make it easier for you.
We just want it to be accurate, you know, that
Right.
the complaints you're getting, that we understand how many and
Do
when.
you believe that all the complaints are accurate? Or is it an orchestrated effort?
We don't know this. You know, I think though that
They're all listed here, you know, with descriptions of why they're complaining.
Does Republic Service have any of their workers reside in a local area?
I don't know anybody's address and I don't,
I'm just,
I don't,
There's a
do you
lot
know
of-
if anybody is local or do you all drive in?
They're detailed.
Yeah.
I mean, is anybody at Republic Service being impacted by what these other
Within the 5
neighbors?
radius of the landfill, not all of the employees, no.
I'm just trying to figure out a way for us to have an opportunity to either correct the data if it's wrong, which sounds like the only discrepancy is likely the source of the complaint, where it got submitted. We can either look at last year's data and do that, or we can basically submit it as is and point out that the sources might be inaccurate and look at this year's data, which has been compiled for the last 3 months, as an opportunity to see if there's an error in the way it's being reported. Those are kind of the options. What I'm trying to do is to see if we can just, as I think Charlene was mentioning, we could focus on the future and the existing data and not try to fix this past, because it's just takes more time.
Yeah, and the question that comes to my mind is how critical is it that
we know exactly where it came
is
from.
is accurate,
Yeah.
since it's in the past? I like to focus on the future thing, but I don't want to see Paul have to do a bunch of extra work on the
Yeah.
weekends, and nor Bailey or anybody. How critical is that piece of data?
It's
to you
not,
all?
but it'd be nice to just, you know, going forward to have it be accurate. And so I
Going
think
forward, we
I
raise
think
the
we got a
issue.
couple months of
Yeah.
data that we could do that.
Yeah,
With 2026.
I mean, going forward, I can see it's a short enough time we can look at it
Yeah,
and sort it
dial in
out.
and see,
Going backwards might be a freaking.
an exercise.
An exercise that might, if it's not that important, I mean,
Well, I think it is important that it's reported accurately. And so, you know, if Julie or Sarah or Paul, if you can look at how you're collecting that.
I'm the only one that has the data on site. Julie and Sarah do not have access.
Well, then if you could just look at, you know, how are you getting it?
Well, that's what our document tracker is for. It's and I will look, and we got to move on because
Yeah.
Okay.
we're behind. I
So you-
apologize, but
So a document tracker is a program.
we have a document tracker.
It's a
That's what I
program
give
that's
him.
tracking it.
Yeah, and that's what I give Billy. So I don't know, somewhere in the process, it was either misrepresented or discounted or whatever, but I will look into it for this.
Right.
I have a recommendation. What if I, for the next meeting, I'll bring everything together and I'll get Paul's numbers or complaints ahead of time so that as of, at our May meeting, you'll be
Yeah.
able to see everything that's been,
For 2026.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd like,
So one more quick question. When these complaints get submitted, especially to the county website, is there an IP address logged with the complaint? So you don't have any, because I hadn't read that far into the packet, but the writing style of a lot of those complaints, especially 26, is the same, is a very common writing style.
Yes.
So I'd be curious to know, is it possible to track IP address on submission?
Well, I track the names of the person submitting it.
The only names I get are coming through Coffin View website. Everything from DEQ and the county is anonymous. It gives date, time, and approximate location. The person complaining is like approximately 3.5 miles southwest of the landfill. Well, you do a pie out to the southwest, and that's a broad area, so that's kind of hard to pinpoint. So they're all anonymous. DEQ has that information when the people call.
I mean, it just is, if I'm looking at data, it'd be nice to know if this is, what your sampling population is, like one person voting for the M&M color,
I recognize when they're a quarter mile from the landfill on 99. I know exactly those people are. I know when they're this area. I get an idea of who they are. And I'm not sharing, I'm not going to
okay.
do supposition, but there is a lot of sameness.
I think Bailey's recommendation is a good one to deal with this 2026 stuff. I don't know what to say about the 2025 information. I think we're,
Put an asterisk next to it.
yeah, just put it, just put a note and
Yeah.
just say that, just say that source of data may be inaccurate. And that the committee's working on this for this next year. Make it easier. So can we move on?
And then does DSAC then approve of me passing this report with that caveat on?
With that caveat.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know, this says Coffin Butte Landfill and PRC annual report.
Oh, we just went through the draft 25. I didn't know that was that whole report, just the pie chart.
Okay, good enough.
So we did, that's what we took care of, right? Just now with the pie chart, was that the 2025?
Well, that's part of it.
Oh,
That's a different report.
oh,
That's the community concerns annual report, which
Oh,
is different than the Coffin View annual report.
no, I have the annual report here, but I didn't know if we were still going through, that's what,
Nope.
okay, so we still have to go through that.
So we want to talk about the annual report now, folks.
The community concerns annual report or the coffee?
The 2024 Coffin Butte landfill, and do you have any more you want to talk about the community concerns report?
No.
No. Anybody else? No. Okay, so moving to item 10.
Item 10, all right. Bailey, do you have the PowerPoint on it?
So,
So everybody can see it?
it's- is this the one that Sarah just?
No, this is the one I sent you, the
Okay.
annual Coffin Butte PRC annual report that I sent. Whoa, you have it in the, you actually have it in the packet. You have it in the packet.
Oh,
Packet.
You can use the packet as a guideline because that's basically what it is. So if you want to scroll and just,
Way down there.
it's way.
Gotta go through that, yeah,
Just-
I think so. Pretty polished.
It's actually about 2/5 the way down.
Doesn't say what page. Oh, 55?
Yeah.
Page 55.
I'm going to try to make this streamline.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go, yeah. Okay. A little bit further up.
Further up, 2 more pages, I think.
53, maybe.
There it is.
53, yeah.
Okay. All right. This is a little late. This has been pushed a few times, and apologies. At the time, I'm just going to preface this.
Sure.
I didn't know we were supposed to submit it last May until Bailey was like, and then it got pushed and pushed and pushed, and here we are. So just keep in mind, this is 2024. There's some stuff in 2025 about it. You can go to the executive summary. Oh, yeah, share your screen. I'll wait till he gets it, but there's some stuff based on conversations that I had with Bailey and Julie and Sarah has had with Bailey, and I think Ginger as well,
Okay. So executive summary.
we've incorporated some 2025 stuff as a look ahead. But just keep in mind, this is 2024.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go no.
Before you finish, or before you dive in, what is the objective of this? Is this a required?
This
report
is
for
what
DEQ?
we're supposed to present this, to the county commissioners
Oh,
every year.
Okay.
So this was supposed to be presented in May of 2025. Usually it's about May, right, Bailey? So the previous year, but I didn't know it was. Bailey asked, hey, are you gonna be able to present it? And then the county commissioners kept pushing it off because of the CUP stuff.
okay.
If that's
So something required by the county for the.
Yes, and then after this, Bailey will get comments, feedback. Bailey will provide me with the comments on this, and then I'll have to present.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I looked at it, I was like, what is
Yeah,
this?
in
all
May.
about?
So yeah, in May, I will also come and present 2025.
Okay.
So we'll get
Good.
caught up. So
Right on.
anyways, so next slide, Bailey, executive summary. This is our 2024 annual report. We worked with Bailey to redesign and simplify it. Previously, we went a little overboard, I think, with a lot of tables and everything. And a lot of this stuff's in the reports, and it's easier to look at it in context in the report than it is just putting a bunch of graphs up within the report. So we've trimmed it down and gone back to previous years types of presentations. A lot of this is obviously 2024, but we have some look forward guidance as needed for clarity on some of the stuff. It contains operating, environmental compliance, sustainability updates, and information for your review. And at the county's request, includes breakouts on topics including PFAS and leachate groundwater monitoring order complaints. Next slide, table of contents, just kind of quick summary where we're going. I don't need to go through this, but this is basically the trajectory of this report. The first one is capacity and infrastructure. Back in 2024, we estimated we had 12.9 years of life remaining at the end of 2024. We originally where our site limits is 39,591,000 cubic yards. We've filled in approximately 24 million, although 24.5 million cubic yards, thus remaining about 14.5 million cubic yards of permitted airspace. And based on our operational density of 0.98 tons per cubic yard. We are at the time in 2024, we were building cell 6A, and in 2025 we filled up 6A last year. We actually finished filling 6A in early January this year. Let's see, and then just as a forward-looking statement, we have approximately 10 years of life remaining as of December 2025, based on current tonnage volumes. We obviously continue to analyze operations to maximize airspace, and that's what we're doing right now in the east side. We continually we're redeveloping the site plan to how to optimize the airspace to remain open through 2040. And then next slide. So this is an ever-evolving volume. May go up, may go down based on input to the landfill, our density rates. And we continue to invest in their infrastructure to ensure providing best-in-class services. And the following pages, we summarize work completed to 2024. Between 2019 and 2024, we invested $9.5 million nearly in gas control and collection systems, which involved 57 vertical wells and 22,700 feet of horizontal gas collection piping. Since 1995, we've captured methane gas generated electricity for 4,000 area homes via partnership with PNGC. We're continuing to invest in our gas infrastructure. As I stated in 2025 last year, we updated 18 horizontal wells and 22 vertical wells, approximately $2.2 million. Next slide. Cell construction, as I stated in 2024, we were placing waste to what's known as 5E. This was the last remaining cell in the main permitted area of the landfill, and then we constructed 6A. We began using this 10.4 acre cell in March of 2025. And as I just stated, we filled it up in January of this year. And in 2025, we built 6B, part 1 at the quarry at about $16 million. It's about 7.5 acres. We are not going into that yet. We're going to wait till the rainy season is over with. And based on current annual tonnage, we'll be capable of accepting waste in that cell through late Q3 2026 this year. Next slide. Leachate management. Each year we use an extensive network of covers to better capture rain and reduce the impact it has on decomposing waste. And obviously, as I said, we've taken stripped a lot of that stuff off as we fill. We're not going to put it on for 1 year and then have to take it off the cap. So we're going to have soil on it. And then we'll do hopefully a final cap in 27 or 28, and then about 25 acres. So that'll significantly reduce our leachate generation, probably about 10 million gallons a year just by capping that. And contrary to what people think, I believe we do have a robust groundwater monitoring comprised of 35 wells, which we just did our spring finished our Q4 sampling in December, and that annual AEMR is due March 31st to DEQ, which we're on track to submit. We'll talk about more of that in a bit with the groundwater. Let's see, and we continue obviously to apply geosynthetic covers. I mean, we will still apply some stuff, but we're not going to do to the extent of that it was on that front east face with all the tarps and EPDM. Next slide, Haley. We consider ourselves as a leader in the responsible disposable waste containing PFAS, which is obviously a very common product in everything that we use. We continue to work with federal and state regulators to understand based on PFAS management, where we're going with regulations. To date, there's still nothing on federal, and we're not hearing anything from the state either on PFAS. As a reminder, we do not create PFAS. We are a passive receiver. So we're trying to safely manage the PFAS as it comes into the landfill. And there's not really we can do to reduce the PFAS that's coming into the leachate, but we are trying to work and come up with solutions with regulators and our consultants on how we can possibly process it in the future. Right now, it's hard to say we're going to build this if it requires this or vice versa. If we all need is a Toyota Corolla to process leachate, why build a Mercedes-Benz? It's a matter of scale of economics, and we just need guidance from state and federal to help us understand what we need to do. In 2024, we produced 43 million gallons of leachate. And obviously everything went to Corvallis or Salem, but as you know, in 2025, we ended our relationship with Corvallis wastewater treatment plant. Next slide. Basically, I'll go into 2024. I'll talk about inspections. We were inspected 6 times in 2024. Those included the EPA, DEQ, Division of Materials Management, with Metro Regional Government, and the cities of Corvallis and Salem. We submitted annual, semi-annual, and quarterly, monthly reports to federal, state, and local regulators in accordance with our operational environmental permits. And I believe you all have the 2024 AEMR, which was submitted to DEQ in March 2025. And I believe, yeah, you do have that, right? I just want to make sure.
It's posted on the website.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. The landfill was not issued any notice of violation to the EPA or ODEQ in 2024. I just want to make that clear. There was no, fines or anything by either agencies in 2024. However, just looking forward to 2025, we did get a Section 114 information request in January, and DEQ sent us a pre-enforcement notification in November. And as I stated earlier in this meeting, we worked in cooperation with DEQ to provide all the information and corrective actions at the time based on the pen that they asked for. Next slide, please. This is just, I'm not going to go through this. This is just the executive summary from the annual environmental monitoring report. Basically, there were some exceedances, but those are typically seen in these wells. And even these exceedances and some of these are decreasing over time. And these all in the compliance boundaries for cell 4 and 5. The drinking water standards for arsenic was exceeded. But that's been measured concentration similar to natural background concentrations. sampling results in 26 and 27 were below the statistically calculated site-specific limits for most indicator parameters during spring. Dissolved metals, and unfortunately, dissolved metals were inadvertently excluded from analysis by laboratory. This will begin resampled during the spring of 2026 when they come out this year. They unfortunately missed that. So other than resampling for dissolved metals during the next monitoring event, no action is required on the basis of these RACLs and SSL exceedances. The volume leachate generated through cells 1 through 5 for the 23-24 water year ending in September 24 was estimated approximately 40 million gallons. And we always continue to monitor the secondary leachate collection systems beneath all the cells 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we have not had any issues with any leachate generation out of that secondary containment areas. Next slide, please. I think I kind of summarized this earlier with the Title V. So right now we're in public review, so I don't think we really need to talk about that unless people have questions at the end. For the AEMR 2025 updates, Coffin Butte will no longer send leachate to Corvallis, as we're aware. It ended in December. As noted earlier in this report, we're a passive receiver, not a producer. Title V renewal status, we talked about that just a little bit earlier. And then the ODEQ pre-enforcement notification, I've updated this committee on that as well. Next slide. Go to PRC. In 2024, PRC collected near 140,000 yards of organic material, including food scraps, commercial food waste, yard debris, and wood waste. They're both an aerated static system, and window methods are employed at the site. We collected 140,000, 120,000 yards of compost are made from materials. The compost is typically distributed to local agriculture, local bagging facilities, and residential uses. And we donated over 100 yards of compost to local community gardens. And the compost from PRC is an OMRI certified, used for organic crops. Next slide. Federal regulatory updates. So these are again 2024 and 2023 and 24. Ocean inspectors visited Coffin Butte. There were 3 citations and issued and fines of $580. All concerns about the OSHA issues were addressed, and we provide now additional respiratory training to our employees once a year. That was not done previously, but we are doing it now. Obviously, we have a very good safety record at the landfill and at PRC, and we'd like to keep it that way. And that is our top priority. We always have a stop work order if anybody feels unsafe. The EPA conducted the surface emission monitoring in June of 22 and 24. Basically because obviously this report, because it covers landfill activities in 2024. And we're just going to focus on the 12-month period. However, a dated timeline of events dating back to 2022 is included in the following pages. The timeline is extended to 2025 to kind of show where we're going. And we'll learn more about this in May as I update for 2025. In June of 24, we were subject of a no-notice inspection by PPA. Inspectors identified 41 surface emission exceedances. The landfill took immediate corrective actions, and that included patching tarps, sewing the tarps up, and we also expanded the landfill gas collection and control system at that time during our normal annual gas construction event. At the time, June of 2024, the landfill was told it was not a subject of any enforcement action. But however, the EPA worked slowly, and in November 2025, we received the pre-enforcement notification from DEQ. It is stated in the pen that the EPA handed off all enforcement action to DEQ, just if no one was aware of that. Obviously, we're complying with all the requests from DEQ regarding this. As a reminder, we use a flare to burn off the excess gas. We received approvement, let me back up. On July 10th, DEQ sent a pre-enforcement warning that the landfill saying that it needed to replace the existing flare system with a new enclosed flare, and we completed that new flare in October 2024.
Question on the 41 surface emissions exceedances.
Yes.
They found that by doing a typical survey process?
So this is where it gets interesting. So when we do surface emissions monitoring, we're required to walk a certain spacing with the tip of the meter no closer, or it's basically 5 to 10 centimeters from the ground surface. And we walk in this path back and forth in each grid with the GPS. EPA can go anywhere they want on some like wandering trail. They stick their probes under the tarp. They stick it down holes. They stuck it in a gopher hole. So that's not what we're allowed to do. So we cannot create those situations that EPA has a broad authority to do whatever they want. So if you look at the reports, you can see a path that does all this, but we have to walk, and we're limited by our rules. So when they find 41 surface emissions, they're sticking them, like I said, under tarps and hole. If there's a hole, instead of sticking it at the hole, they're shoving their probe, and there's pictures of them shoving the probe inside the hole or in a gopher hole or an animal burrow or something like that, which we don't do, because that's not in the regulations. It states this is what you must do.
The regulations are state or federal?
They're both Oregon, and Oregon typically mirrors the federal, and they can put in some of their own requirements, but that 5 to 10 centimeters of the probe on the ground like this, as you walk, you try to maintain that distance. We don't stick it down and everything else. So that's when they record that, that's them doing their own thing.
Is somebody from Republic following?
We are following them, and we're making notes of all the corrections.
Videotaping or anything?
Pictures, just pictures. Yeah, documentation. And so, yeah, that's.
But do you know, like, out of those 41, are they all because they're subsurface, or you really don't know?
I'd have to go back and look at the report, but it's a mix. And they were saying there was exceedances which really we wouldn't sample per the regulations. So the EPA does their own thing.
Yeah.
And there was nothing we could say about it. And they do this all over every site. So it's not our site, it's every site.
Can you guesstimate how many measurements are taken, just to put that 41 in context?
For the SEMS? So we have two things. So we have grids, which they walk. We have 128 grids. Each grid is approximately 1 acre. So we have 128 acres that someone walks. There's also called penetrations. And so as that guy walks, as that SEM person walks, he will go next to a well. Sometimes wells, there's gas that comes up the well because they're not properly sealed, and he'll get a hit, and he marks it down as a penetration. And then that penetration gets flagged. He'll flag it, he'll put a flagging or whatever, and then we'll go do corrective action. We have to do a 10-day, and then a 30-day follow-up, and that's how that works. But it could be 100, it could be whatever. And so he walks and he looks, and sometimes he uses his nose and he tracks it down, and he'll get a hit or something from too thin of material. So we'll come and put more material on the cover. So that's an instantaneous, and those are get corrected as we go. So, okay. Let's see. So that's the flare. EPA DEQ, next page, please. So this is just a summary. I don't know if we want to kind of go through this whole thing. It just kind of gives it a timeline of all the inspections from June 23rd to 2022. As you read left to right, and then down below, that's the timeline basically of all the occurrences for the inspections, the follow-ups, and the EPA returning, and then a possible enforcement action.
May I interrupt? So we have this entire report.
Yes.
And our job is to see if we think that the report is missing anything, I think. Yeah. More or less.
Or if we have questions, so we really need to digest.
So it's basically, I can stop this and you can review it.
Okay. Maybe we should do that. I did look at the entire report earlier.
Okay.
And I thought, first of all, that it looked substantially complete.
Right.
I couldn't think of many things that would be missing.
Okay.
On the report. So I really think you did a great job.
I was only the receiver. I have to thank our teams for that and getting this together.
I think and I think the committee should do that themselves as well, to see if they see anything they think is missing from the report.
I know we're running long, so yeah.
To help improve the next report.
I guess I have a question for Bailey. So this is presented to the commissioners. What do they do?
So the board will receive the package, and then Paul or someone from Republic will come and present.
Yes.
They, like the DSAC has the opportunity to look at it first and provide any input. Kind of the process is, if you have things that you think are missing from the report, or that they should spend more time on some particular topic, or took issue with a stat or something that's in there, any of the feedback that DSAC has will go back to Paul, and we'll need to provide that to him within a week. March 31st.
Yeah, I think you said March 30th, a week, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just ask the committee, I think that's adequate time for us, and I want to know if everybody feels the same way. Okay, so I think you presented quite a bit of, how it's outlined, and I think we can use that and get stuff fed back by then. And then at that time, then the report's going to be forwarded to the commissioners unless we came up with something that we just know needs to be edited in. Or does that seem fair? I think I really appreciate seeing parts of it here. I think though that we have, like, I need to go back myself again and just look at the whole thing and make sure that I don't see something that just comes to me that's missing. But I don't think it is at this point.
And then do the commissioners vote on this? Like, we approve the report, or just like, thank you, Paul, very much?
That's it, basically, thank you. It's just a presentation.
Just accept it.
It's a formality kind of a thing.
Yeah, although it gives the Board of Commissioners an opportunity
Yeah, I got it.
to
Okay, I
ask.
just wanted to know if there's some statutory thingy going on.
No.
But it offers us a bit of history of what has happened.
Yeah, I think it's valuable.
So thanks for that.
I don't mind stopping really, that's fine.
Yeah.
We're
already over.
Yeah, we're already
I
over.
want to
so
make sure
I'm okay
that
with
the
that.
team feels.
It's okay, as a committee, fine with that, and you can review it anytime. Okay.
Okay, well, take a look, and I'm gonna hope that everybody responds that they've had a chance to review and either have no comments or have comments probably by the 30th, so that on the 31st, you're ready to submit.
Yeah.
Okay, we got only a couple more things on here. One of them is vice chair election. I think somebody said they might be willing to be a vice chair. Who was that? So is there anybody else that would like to be considered for nomination to vice chair? Arlene? No? Okay. So in that light of that, does the committee willing to vote on unanimous approval of Bob, as, yes, I remember he was sitting next to me last time, he said he'd be willing to be considered. That usually means
After
that you
David
get
asked,
stuck.
yeah, I said I would be willing.
So all in favor of Bob being
I think
vice
somebody
chair?
needs to make a motion. That's
I'll make a motion that we vice chair.
Yeah,
I second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, Bob.
Thank you very much.
Good campaign.
I cannot guarantee that I'll be back here for the next meeting, but I will be able to contribute because that's at the same time that I'm traveling. Okay.
So you're taking over for the next.
Request agenda items, staff requests for next meeting. Why don't you tell us when's the next meeting again?
May.
It's at the bottom.
May 27th, right?
Yeah.
And it's, now do check these 3 dates and see if they're going to work for you. I'm pretty sure I'll be back that day. It only is dependent upon whether or not I have severe vehicle problems because I'll be coming back from a 1-month journey on the 25th. Okay, so I think I'm here and I'm going to do my best to be here. Any agenda items for next meeting? I'm going to recommend that you submit them during this next week when you have a chance to work on other things. I have one of my own that I'm going to suggest, and that is by May, we need to learn more about what we're going to be doing about methane observations. I'm going to put that on the agenda, and that's because in light of the fact that there's something in the legislation that needs to be dealt with from the state. There may be other things. Okay. And with that, I want to thank everybody for attending. I'm sorry to see the departure of an individual that's getting a well-deserved retirement, and looking forward to interacting with our new member. So thank you very much. And does anyone else have anything they wish to say?
I'm Jared. So I'm this guy. What is your name? I don't know who.
Sarah Steve.
Seriously. And then you're sitting.
I'm Brett Davis.
Okay.
He's the general
That's
manager.
our property right there. Well, thank you all for attending, and we'll see you.
I think don't you have to make a motion to adjourn?
Oh, yeah. Motion to adjourn.
Right, we're gonna.
Second the
Okay.
motion.
So approved.
Gotta make sure we're following protocol.
Well, I'll start using complete Robert's Rules of Orders if you like.
I just sitting in here for a year.